with him, it's likely because you're racist.
Well, you know what? Let's play that shot. This is Oprah on the BBC. I don't know what the BBC is. I think it's a type of candy. She says the criticism.
Has it ever crossed your mind that some of the treatment that Obama and the challenges he's faced and some of the reporting he's received is because he's an African American?
Probably it's crossed my mind more times than it's crossed your mind. I think that there's a level of disrespect for the office that occurs. And that occurs in some cases and maybe even many cases because he's African American.
Dana, you're a huge Oprah fan. Do you agree or disagree with her?
Well, I disagree with her on this, but I think that just from a communication standpoint, in reality is that she believes it. And there's a lot of people that believe this, and it did not necessarily start with the Tea Party or anybody that was conservative or Republican. Remember in 2008, during the Clinton-Obama primary in South Carolina, the word went out that Bill Clinton was a racist.
Yeah.
And the Obama people, hands off, sorry, we don't know who did it, but they know exactly who did it. They've been using this as a political wedge for a long time. How do we get beyond it? That's something I've been thinking about today. I really think you need a person that is going to, a leader that can be like a Ronald Reagan type and bring people together, because I think right now we're not going to see it in the next 3 years.
Yeah, and it was the Hillary campaign that had pushed the whole
birth certificate issue. That's where it started on the Democratic side. That's where you see some of the worst kinds of racism, but they hide it. And so if Hillary Clinton gets elected, then are we all anti-women? I mean, or woman? Is that going to be the new thing that we have to do?
That will be the strategy.
I just have a point on Oprah, though. You know, let me ask Oprah, I'd love to ask her this question. If somebody like President Obama was working at her company, Harpo, and had done something the equivalent of Obamacare at Harpo, do we think for 1 second Oprah would keep him employed, white, black, or anything? The beauty of Oprah was she didn't play the race card in her career. She created a product that everybody wanted to buy.
Yeah.
President Obama has created a mess that nobody wants to own, including himself.
But Oprah here is talking about specifically Joe Wilson, the congressman from South Carolina who yelled out to Obama, "You lie."
Cherry picking, Bob.
Huh?
Cherry picking, like you say.
Yeah, she's picking out one person and making that the same thing I'm saying that segment is doing. But does anybody believe, I have to say this, I wonder whether Joe Wilson would have said the same thing to Bill Clinton.
Well, do you remember what he said you lie about? You remember what Obama was talking about?
Yeah, it was about Obamacare, if I remember right. But I don't if Bill Clinton had said the same thing, I don't believe this guy.
Plenty of Republicans said that Bill Clinton lied, Bob. Does that make them what then?
Stand up in the middle of the House of Representatives and do it? That was one of the most crass, disgusting, depraved things I've seen.
Because Bill Clinton did lie. So I don't understand. All of a sudden we're racist because we disagree with a Democratic president?
No, you don't stand up in the middle of the House of Representatives and call a president, say you lied to a president of the United States.
Honestly, because we believe this, and the people on the right believe that that Obamacare is a major, drastic change, violating the Constitution, but it changed the way we've done business in the country for 237 years.
What does that have to do with racism?
Because, no, it doesn't. It wasn't racist. It was Joe Wilson yelling, "You lie," because President Obama was talking about changing the way we do. He completely changed. He took something that was a product that was not a fine or a fee or a tax and mandated the American people to buy a product. It's never been done before. It's against the Constitution, and people on the right, including Joe Wilson at the time, were ticked off.
You think that bum should have been allowed to say that on the floor of the House of Representatives?
I don't condone that. No, I don't. Although in England, you know, Parliament is like at each other.
By the way, I mean, speaking of which, I mean, if disrespect means racism, then how can you explain George W. Bush, who I think was the beneficiary of more disrespect than Obama ever encountered as president? I mean, the vitriol directed at him.
Especially, well, the war in Iraq had everybody's emotions very raw. So it's, the comparison to today is probably not exact. But when the Speaker of the House and the leader of the Senate started calling the president a liar and a loser, that basically, I think, broke the dam on civility. And so I don't think Joe Wilson was the first. I think that started with the top.
Yeah. Let's go to a nutbag by the name of Oliver Stone. This is what he has to say about what the Republicans are doing to the United States.
I don't know why these Republican white people, frankly, the McConnells and they're strange to me. It's almost as if we're in an apartheid state and they're still fighting for the rights of whites in South Africa. It's like they're scared. I would think that they're very scared that this country is going to become
and that's what I was getting at.
colored.
And that's what I was getting at. Yeah, they're threatened by something.
Yeah,
it may not be that he's doing anything, but they are threatened by something.
But he is threatened by the fact that he is black. You know, that's enough.
Andrea, it seems like Oliver Stone is living in one of his movies from 1975. Like he has not seen progress. He hasn't left his house.
He hasn't left L.A. or wherever he lives in his bubble.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like we talked about earlier in the week with Richard Cohen from the Washington Post. Greg, an example of racism worse than we've seen on the right, Oliver Stone, Republican white people, but there's no outrage about that. He can just label white people as being bad and Republicans and racist and get away with it. You know, President Obama was elected with a tremendous amount of goodwill. And the first thing that he did with the Democratic Congress and the will of the people, I mean, a lot of people were on his side to reform health care. He got a total pass on that. He did. They let him do it. People questioned that was going to be his first legislative accomplishment. Why not the economy? No, he did health care. And now look what we're getting. I mean, people went out of their way to not criticize him, I think, and give him that pass and let him do what he wanted.
Don't you think this is a huge reach we're playing with here? Oliver Stone, is he supposed to represent the Democratic Party, the left? I mean, come on. This guy is, we don't pay any attention to this guy.
That. Well, no matter who it is.
I didn't know he was still alive, to be honest with you.
We'll roll a soundbite of a lefty saying something as ridiculous as Oliver Stone says, or as Oprah says, or as Bill Maher says, or as, it goes on and on.
I just don't have enough,
he doesn't
I don't have enough support here to pick out right-wingers saying stuff.
Who represents
I mean, if I had all the editors available to me to pick out the funny things.
Then who represents the left? These are everywhere. Every week there's at least 5 or 6.
And you don't think if we had enough people looking for conservative right-wingers, say we couldn't come up with a package like this?
I think there are a number of wackos on both sides. There's just more on your side.
Also, I think that there is a difference in terms when it comes from Hollywood. And you've talked about this in terms of the culture and popular media. And when you have someone as big a star as Oprah, who said, and when she says it, I think she's being sincere. She really believes that. Then you have Oliver Stone, who basically, these are the leaders of most of the way people get information in the United States. I do think that is different than finding some 2-bit congressman or state representative in North Carolina who might have said something at some point in his career. To me, there is a big difference.
Yeah, there's no impact on pop culture.
In terms of the impact.
And yeah,
that's right.
That's a